Beneath Lake Albert's lush landscapes, Uganda discovered billions of barrels of oil, a find that promised to transform the nation's fortunes. The excitement was electric, with hopes of lifting millions out of poverty and funding a new era of development. But the challenge was clear: how to get this oil from landlocked Uganda to global markets. The initial plan was a pipeline through Kenya to the new port at Lamu, a project meant to cement regional ties and prosperity. Yet, what seemed straightforward quickly became tangled in security concerns, financial disputes, and tough terrain. Negotiations dragged, and the dream of a Ugandan-Kenyan pipeline began to fade. Quietly, Uganda started exploring a southern route through Tanzania. This pivot shocked the region, redrawing alliances and leaving Kenya sidelined. The new plan, a pipeline to Tanzania's port of Tanga. This wasn't just a technical shift. It was a major geopolitical move, reshaping East Africa's energy map. Uganda's oil story became one of bold gambles and shifting partnerships. The decision would define Uganda's future and its place in the region for decades. Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, is breathtaking but landlocked, surrounded by 5 countries and without a seaport. This geography makes Uganda dependent on neighbors, mainly Kenya and Tanzania, for all imports and exports. When oil was discovered, the need for a reliable route to the sea became urgent. Unlike coffee or tea, crude oil requires a massive dedicated pipeline to reach tankers at the coast. Uganda's oil is unusually thick and waxy, needing a heated pipeline to stay liquid. This technical challenge made the project expensive and complex, raising the stakes for choosing the right partner. The pipeline wasn't just about logistics, it was about economic independence. Uganda needed a secure, stable, and affordable route, and a partner it could trust for decades. The right choice would guarantee Uganda's sovereignty over its oil future. The search for a sea route was a quest for national destiny. The Kenyan pipeline plan looked perfect on paper, linking Uganda's oil to the new Lamu port via a historic trade corridor. But reality hit hard. Security risks loomed large in northern Kenya, a region plagued by instability. Protecting a 1,000-kilometer pipeline from sabotage would be costly and complex. The terrain was another hurdle, mountainous and challenging, requiring expensive pumping stations and driving up costs. Higher transit fees threatened Uganda's profits. Negotiations between Uganda and Kenya stalled over tariffs, land rights and financing. Delays mounted, and political will faded. For Uganda, time was money, and patience was running out. The Kenyan promise was proving elusive. Uganda needed a new solution. As Kenya's plan faltered, Uganda turned to Tanzania and found a more promising path. The route to Tanzania's port of Tanga was longer, but offered greater security and political stability. Strong ties between Uganda's and Tanzania's leaders sped up negotiations. Tanzania's corridor avoided unstable regions, reducing risks and insurance costs. The terrain was flatter, requiring fewer pumping stations and lowering construction and operational expenses. Tanzania offered a fixed, affordable transit fee, giving Uganda financial certainty. The deal was clear: safer, cheaper, and more reliable. In contrast to Kenya's delays, Tanzania moved swiftly. Uganda made a pragmatic choice, choosing stability and profit over old alliances. The southern route became the obvious path forward. A new partnership was born. The East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP, was set in motion. Stretching 1,243 kilometers from Uganda to Tanzania's coast, it would be the world's longest electrically heated crude pipeline. The project required billions in investment and unprecedented cooperation between governments and global energy giants. The pipeline is buried underground, with fiber optics and heating units to keep the oil flowing. Led by Total Energies, CNOOC, and the national oil companies, EACOP is a symbol of international partnership. Construction is creating thousands of jobs and boosting local economies along the route. For Uganda, EACOP is the final link to unlock its oil wealth and fund its future. By 2026, the pipeline is expected to be operational, marking the end of a decades-long journey. The project is a testament to Uganda's determination to shape its own destiny. A new era for East Africa is about to begin. Uganda's pivot to Tanzania created clear winners and losers in East Africa. Uganda gains a secure, cost-effective export route, promising jobs and economic growth. Tanzania emerges as a key energy hub, earning revenue and boosting its regional influence. Kenya, once the natural partner, loses out on investment, transit fees, and prestige. The shift challenges Kenya's dominance and sparks new competition for regional leadership. The EACOP forms a new north-south axis, strengthening Uganda-Tanzania ties. This could balance power in the region, but also risks creating rival blocs. The East African community faces a new dynamic, one of competition and shifting alliances. The pipeline's impact will ripple through politics, trade, and diplomacy for years. East Africa's future is being rewritten. EACOP's promise comes with controversy, especially over its environmental and social costs. The pipeline cuts through sensitive ecosystems, raising fears of oil spills and damage to vital habitats. Its carbon footprint clashes with global efforts to fight climate change. Thousands of people have been displaced, with many saying compensation is inadequate. Social tensions and disputes over land have followed the pipeline's path. Financial challenges mount as banks and insurers shy away from fossil fuel projects. Activist pressure has made funding uncertain, threatening the project's long-term viability. Uganda and Tanzania must balance economic ambition with responsibility to people and nature. The pipeline's legacy will depend on how these risks are managed. If successful, Uganda and Tanzania could transform their economies. But the true cost and the true winners remain to be seen.